number of years ago, I was going through a particularly dark period of my life, and one of those times where I just couldn't really seem to find my way out. And a friend of mine gave me a little lecture that seemed to help a lot then, and I still find it very helpful today. And so I am going to pass it on to you in case you may also find it useful. So here it is. I believe that there are forces of good and there are forces of evil at work in our world. And both of these forces use our emotions as tools to get us to do what they want. And they use three emotions in particular. And you might think of them as negative emotions at the outset, but they're really not negative depending on how they're used. The three emotions that the forces use to manipulate us are fear, guilt, and self-doubt. Now here is the difference. The forces of good will use fear and guilt and self-doubt to get us to do good things. But they use just enough. Just enough fear to get us to alter our behavior. Just enough guilt. Just enough self-doubt. And we can kind of relate when, say, you're driving on the road and you go through a red light and you say, oh my goodness, I just went through a red light. And it scares you. But not enough to make you stop driving. You still continue to drive. It's just enough fear to get you to pay attention, to get you to change your behavior. The forces of evil in the world, however, use the same emotion, but in a much greater quantity. And they will just pour on the fear. And they will pour on the guilt, and they will pour on the self-doubt. And so that is how we can kind of tell which voice we ought to listen to. When we're feeling fear and when we're feeling guilt and when we're feeling self-doubt. Are we feeling it in just a little bit? Just enough to get us to change our behavior? Or are we paralyzed by it? And if the feeling is paralyzing, if it is overwhelming, then you can rest assured that it is not from God. You can rest assured that it is not from the forces of good.